We have talked about time and time again this being the year of 3D Mario, and based on all the rumors, it sounds like not only is this game going to launch with a new console later on this year, but it's also going to be fully open world and look absolutely phenomenal. And I cannot go to bed at night without thinking of a fully open world 3D Mario experience, something similar to Breath of the Wild, but obviously completely different, being in the Mario universe. So as I sat and thought, I asked the community and myself what they could actually do, and came up with a list of 70 different ideas for an open world Mario game. These are very specific ones, they can be more general, but yes, overall we have 70 ideas to share with you guys today. Grab yourself a drink and a snack and sit back as we go through all 70 of these ideas. So real quick, if you're excited for an open world Mario game, let me know by leaving a like and subscribing. We have a goal this year to gain 100,000 subscribers. As last year we gained 75,000, we want to go up an extra 100,000 this year, which is pretty crazy, I know, but I know we can do it. We just started this goal this week and you guys have been killing it, with Monday's video getting over 700 new subscribers and yesterday's video getting over 500 new subscribers. So thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Let's jump into the video. So before we get into your guys' suggestions, the first 30 or so on this list were from my ideas that I was just sitting down, using the bathroom, or just doing everyday life things, and just slowly jotted these down over the last couple of days. But let's just kind of go through these as fast as we can, just talk about them. So, multiple different biomes and areas that remind you of the places like New Super Mario Bros. U. I would love to just pretty much see that map, but in like a 3D landscape, where you can seamlessly just go over to the desert, or go over to the jungle. That would be so cool, and yes, I made specific ones as part of this list as well. For instance, number 2, I would love to see a beach with pirate ships. I think that would be awesome. You can go into the pirate ships and stuff and just kind of swim around the coast. A giant snow mountain that we could climb, and it's like a very long climb to get to the very top, but once we do, you can see the entire map. Something very similar to Breath of the Wild when you climb one of those big towers like the Hebra Mountain or Dueling Peaks, and you get to look at all the map from the top. Would be so satisfying, especially in a really cool looking Mario game. I would love to see a thick, deep jungle, maybe with giant trees and just like a big, thick woods with a swamp and everything in the middle. Would look pretty cool. I would love to see a world in the clouds. I think that would also be really awesome. Just kind of like a kingdom or a castle up there. We had the Cloud Kingdom within Super Mario Odyssey, but they didn't do much with it. It was just a battle arena on a giant cloud. So I would love to see like an actual world in the clouds, kind of like New Super Mario Bros. Did. And a fully explorable Peach Castle would make me so excited. I would love to finally explore Peach's Castle like we could in Mario 64. We haven't really had this experience in any other game outside of maybe like Paper Mario 64 that allowed us to kind of just go all throughout the castle and explore it. I really want to go back to that. Maybe even giving references to Mario 64 paintings and stuff, and maybe even like a secret world where we get to jump into Bomb Battlefield or something. I don't know, but just being able to go throughout the entire castle and just kind of look at stuff and go up the stairs and downstairs into the basement into the top part of the castle, I think would be a lot of fun. Shoot, why not a fully explorable Bowser's Castle as well? Whether he's the main villain or not, I would love to go to like the Lava Land and see his castle and be able to explore it. Like, once again, the only times we were able to do this was in the Mario RPG games with Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario, so I would love to see this in a full-fledged 3D Mario game. And no, I'm not counting the 2D Mario games because you're just running right. I want to explore Bowser's Castle fully. I would love to see the Koopalings in 3D, and I know they've already kind of done this with the Broodals in Mario Odyssey, and the Koopalings would probably work in a similar fashion, and they don't have to be the main bosses, but I would just love to see them work in 3D and use some of their things that they do in the 2D games in a 3D space. I think that would be awesome. I want to see bosses other than Bowser, or at least a main boss other than Bowser. I feel like it's always Bowser at the end. Maybe something different, maybe a new antagonist, and maybe even Mario and Bowser have to team up this time around. I want to see new items, something really special. I know we always get new items for 2D Mario games, and normally 3D Mario games have one specific gimmick, but I would love to see new items thrown into this game as well. I feel like with 3D Mario games, it's mostly just Mario with that new gimmick. For instance, 64 Sunshine and even Odyssey didn't really have items. Next up, I would love to also see returning items items like the Tanuki suit or the frog suit, items that we traditionally don't get to see in 3D. I would love to be able to swim better with that frog suit on, or that Tanuki suit gliding through the air, or maybe even that penguin suit for the snow region, being able to slide on your stomach through the snow, you know, mountains and paths and stuff. I would love to have overworld bosses kind of just walking and roaming around this giant open world that we can just come up on and fight, with unique ways to fight them based on the region that they're in. Would be really cool. Kind of like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but a lot more, because Breath of the Wild only had like 3 or 4 real big bosses roaming around the overworld. So just a whole bunch of, you know, really cool encounters, like, ooh, here's a boss right here, and we get to fight them. I want there to be no more stars / moons, whatever it's going to be this time around, just scattered everywhere. They should require some type of challenge to get every single one, not just ground pound this spot, look right here under this rock. They need to actually be worth finding, which leads me to my second thing here, is little secret collectibles instead hidden everywhere that you can find. And maybe like there's little like certain coins, like the purple coins from Super Mario Odyssey, and just like finding a certain collectible and there's like a huge number of them. They could even be the Koroks, which is like something that I'm going to be talking about later that one of you guys actually commented, but something along those lines, not actual Koroks. I would love to see some type of cart vehicle that you could drive around the world. Like you can build it or something and customize it, and it has like a little bit of a Mario Kart feel to it, and that would also like lead to advertise the new Mario Kart game coming out, I'm sure a year after this game or something along those lines. But just jumping in a cart and driving around the world and jumping out and doing challenges and quests and stuff would just be amazing. What if we have other vehicles as well, like some sort of plane or flying vehicle, or like a bird or something that we get to ride through the clouds, or maybe our own clown car that we get to jump into and fly around. Of course, you also have to have a water vehicle too, so maybe like Plessy returns from Bowser's Fury and he just kind of pops up in water areas, so you can just hop on him and just kind of ride him across the water. That would just make a lot of sense. What if we have even more costumes than the ones we have in Super Mario Odyssey? Yeah, I'm talking tons of customizable options for Mario. Maybe we can even like change certain things about him, like his shoes, his overalls, the undershirt, his hat, and we can like customize him even more. I'm not talking like messing with his hair or his mustache, any facial hair or anything like that, or the way he looks, but I'm just talking simply just his clothes. I think would be pretty cool. It's not really a mandatory thing of mine, but I think it'd be awesome. But that also reminds me, what if we had even more playable characters? This is not just a Mario adventure, this is a Super Mario Brothers adventure, meaning like you could have all types of players with Luigi, Peach, Daisy and stuff in this world, and maybe they all have like little slight different movesets or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. I still only really care about Mario, so I probably would just simply play as Mario, but I understand like people would really want to play as other characters as well. So something like that in a, you know, 3D sandbox and even an open world style Mario would be awesome, since we've never gotten that like in 64, Sunshine, or even Odyssey. Number 20, I would love to have side quests and missions to complete from like NPCs around the world, or even Toads that have us go to different areas carrying supplies or doing certain things in little quests, which would be really cool. Of course, side missions and side quests are always going to be something that you find in any open world game, so I just kind of expect this to be here for sure. I would love to see fun hidden Easter eggs all over the map. Not just stuff that you have to collect or maybe even extra collectibles, just fun things that you can find along your adventure. Things to talk about with your friends and be like, did you know that there's this like cool little Easter egg at the beach area in this bat cave or something like that? Things like that for us to explore and find for ourselves and even talk about amongst the community would be so cool. I would love to see ghost houses on the map, kind of like the new Super Mario Brothers games, where there's these random little small ghost houses that you can go into, and maybe they're like some puzzles or creepy things going on in the inside, or maybe one giant one, kind of like Luigi's Mansion theme, would be a lot of fun as well. I would love to see mini mission rooms like Breath of the Wild shrines or Odyssey bonus rooms, where you can go in order to collect some type of power source or something, or a collectible, or you just do a little challenge or something as like base Mario, kind of like we've seen in Super Mario Sunshine as well without FLUDD. I would love to see returning characters from past games like EGAD or even Toadsworth, characters that we just haven't seen in a while. I think some sort of online play would also be really cool, whether you can play with others and see other people running around, something like Super Mario Wonder, just seeing the ghost of everybody running around the worlds or something, and you can help each other out if you die. Or maybe something along the lines where you can jump into your friends' worlds and either help them complete challenges and actually run through the world with them would be really awesome, especially on a new console. I think it should have the power and the capabilities to do something like this. Hopefully Nintendo's online servers are good enough to do something like that as well. And also just having some sort of multiplayer, being able to play even just locally with another player, like Mario and Luigi, or someone's Toad or someone's someone's Peach and you can just run around the world together and complete things together in like a split screen would be awesome. Going back to that online thing, I know people made tons of Mario Odyssey mods, like Small Ant did the whole hide and seek thing. Could you imagine playing hide and seek with Mario characters on an open world map? Or maybe they just give you one zone to go hide around in and one person, you know, tries to find the others. Dude, seriously, that would be so much fun in a Mario game. I would also love to see random weather like Breath of the Wild, but even wackier like tornadoes or hurricanes or just over the top weather. But even if it just rains or snows, I think that'd be fine as well, or just like windy or cloudy. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see a giant volcano on the map that goes off at random times and fires lava rocks. Where did this come from? I have absolutely no clue. I told you this video would be random, but going into a giant volcano, something along the lines of Breath of the Wild's volcano, but just more fun, you know what I mean? Not as realistic, like you could jump inside of it and explore the inside and stuff. You know what? Bring back Corona Mountain, for crying out loud. What if Mario had some type of skill tree where there's ways to level him up? And I know some people have also told me before, how are you gonna level Mario up? Well, you can make him faster in the overworld, make him jump higher, make him have maybe like a new type of combo to damage enemies or to hurt enemies besides just jumping on them. Maybe you can get like a punch or a kick or develop attacks from past games like the Mario Galaxy Spin. And there's like different ways to, you know, kind of level him up. And you just gotta keep upgrading Mario by collecting things and exploring the world, which would be really cool. And then by the end of the game, he's like super fast, jumps super high, and just maybe even gets like a double jump and new abilities. Some people might disagree with this one, and that's completely fine, but I would love if the game had no fall damage again, just allowing us to explore more things and jump off things and do things kind of at our own leisure and without worrying about taking fall damage and stuff, because this isn't Breath of the Wild. You don't have to worry about, you know, damage or anything like that. You can just jump around and have fun. But also like Mario to have more attacks instead of just jumping on enemies, like punching or kicking returning from Mario 64 or that spin from Mario Galaxy, or just something completely different. For instance, what if also there was a tons of new things for Mario to pick up and equip, like weapons and stuff, and instead of just punches and kicks, he can actually pick up weapons that completely changes his moveset and allows him to take out enemies in different ways. I mean, if he can hold a gun in Mario Rabbids, he can hold a gun in an open 3D, you know, Mario game where it's like a laser gun or something. It doesn't have to be real bullets, Nintendo. Real quick before we jump into your guys' suggestions, I want to thank FUNLAB for sending over this really cool FIREFLY enhanced wireless Switch controller. This thing is awesome and it's just beautiful to look at. With an enhanced controller, you have more buttons than the normal Switch Pro controller, including back paddles that you can program and an interchangeable D-pad. But this controller has some really cool lighting functions as it goes through multiple different colors, and you can actually change how the colors work. You can do a nice little fade in and fade out, or just a bright flash if you're crazy. But the controller is filled with really cool Mario Wonder characters and also characters and enemies and all types of items throughout the Mario franchise. It is covered in logos and symbols, and it just looks so cool with the light flashing through them. If you want to get your hands on the brand new awesome FIREFLY controller for the Nintendo Switch, click on the link in the description down below, and huge thanks to FUNLAB for sending this awesome controller over. I seriously love this thing. Alright, now it's time to dive into some of your comments that you've answered on the community post I posted the other day. So Sir Stinky wants Chris Pratt Mario. That's literally all they said. So sure, whether it's a voice or whether it's actually Chris Pratt just as Mario, make it happen, Nintendo. Power Jim wants to visit old areas from past 3D Mario games, and I still think that would be awesome to go to like Isle Delfina or maybe the Bean Bean Kingdom from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, and just other areas would be really cool references to have. MK Plays wants fast travel pipes. It would be really cool if you could color coordinate them, like you could have like 4 of them, and maybe a set of blue, a set of green, a set of yellow, and like a set of red, and you can place them around the map in order to kind of go into those locations or something, or like they connect to one another, or maybe just a pipe that you can place down and warp to whenever you go, just one single pipe. But that would definitely be cool and a great way to have fast travel in an open world area. 11 Usapayan, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, wants there to be Pikmin and other Nintendo references. I mean, seriously, that would be amazing. If you're going through the jungle and maybe see a couple of Pikmin kind of hiding behind trees or something as just like references, would be awesome. I doubt Nintendo does this. I feel like the only time they've done this was like RPG games like Mario RPG. So I don't know. To see a Samus gunship flying above though would make me pretty happy. Ouija's cartoons want Mario and characters to have dialogue, and I'm guessing they also mean voices. So yes, voice acting is something that we've never really gotten in Mario, and they got very close with Mario Wonder, where Bowser actually does kind of sound like he's speaking, and there's like certain situations where you can make out certain words that he says, and he also says like Mario, so why not? I mean, they were even talking back in Super Mario Sunshine, so they could have Mario talk now. He officially talks in the movies. let his voice be heard. Let Mario speak some sentences and stuff. Who cares? Let the characters talk. I completely agree. Luigi's cartoons also wants playable villains. Yes, for sure, that would be awesome. We got to play as Mario last time. Could you imagine a mode where we get to play as Bowser Jr. or maybe even the Koopalings or some other type of character or villain? That'd be pretty awesome. Sohum Jane would like to see power-up fusions, kind of like Kirby's Crystal Shards. And yeah, that was actually awesome. And I really loved that with that game. Just fusing power-ups, taking two things and making some type of random new one would be awesome. So like imagine tons of old power-ups like the Tanuki Leaf, the Superstar, the Mushroom, the Mini Mushroom, the Giant Mushroom roll in this game, and you could fuse them. Like, oh my goodness, you could take the penguin suit and the super mushroom or the giga mushroom or whatever and make like a giant penguin or something. I don't know, something crazy and wacky where you can fuse things and maybe make your own unique power-ups would be pretty awesome. Splatoon 2364 wants customizable enemies, which I'm guessing they mean more along the lines of unique ones that are thematic. And we kind of had this in Super Mario Odyssey where lots of Goombas would wear hats based on the location that they're in. I guess all the enemies technically did that because it was a hat-themed game. But for instance, we had Goombas wearing pirate hats in the Seaside Kingdom, so maybe now they can actually be dressed up, kind of like they are in the RPG games, having full costumes with shirts, clothes, everything. Even the Koopa Troopas, like they would have actual costumes, which would be really cool to go along with the areas of the map that they are in. Destructive Time wants a speedrun mode, and yes, there were lots of speed challenges with like the Koopa Troopa races in Mario Odyssey, but what if a proper speedrun mode, like you beat the game and you get to actually play through the game again, but as a speedrun, and there's like a timer, in-game timer, and everything to see how fast you can beat it. Let's face it, this is probably going to be a quick game. It's a Mario game. They always are. Even if it's open world, it's probably going to be very easy to beat, but it would be super cool if there was actually like an in-game timer to kind of track how fast you're going, and you could just try to beat the game as fast as you can. That would make for some fun replayability. Meow Mewman actually wants there to be a music-themed 3D Mario game. Kind of like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, where lots of the stages has music integrated and there's lots of like plays with all the enemies and everything in a musical number. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I think Nintendo's always kind of wanted to do like a play. That's what Mario Bros. 3 was based off of and stuff. So maybe it is kind of music-themed or something along those lines. Shane wants a 3D Mario game where all 3D mechanics are mashed together, which means you have Mario 64's punch and kick and his mechanics there. You have Mario Sunshine's flood mechanics, and you also have Mario Odyssey's Cappy mechanics, all thrown in together, which would be kind of crazy. If you wanted to keep going, you could do Galaxy's Spin and even mechanics from Mario 3D World, which really were just items like Cat Mario and the Double Cherry, but why not throw them all in together? Falcon Punch wants to actually play as Bowser for the final fight, not just kind of escape a room like you do in Super Mario Odyssey. Actually having a full Bowser moveset and being able to control him would be awesome. And hey, maybe it's a Mario Bowser buddy game where they actually have to work together, kind of like Bowser's Inside Story, but this time they actually know it. Please, that would be so awesome. Krish Morty wants there to be mission structures from Mario 64 and Sunshine, which I completely agree. There should be missions that kind of just give you a hint, and it kind of gives you like, you know, where you should look, maybe like Mysteries of the Lake, and there's a big whirlpool in the lake, and you're supposed to go over there and find out what's going on, and it takes you on like a little mission. That definitely should be in this. I think it would work great still in an open world space. Luco MC wants a day and night cycle, and yes, I would kind of expect this with an open world game where you can just run around forever, kind of like Breath of the Wild. It just makes a lot of sense. That would be really cool. Z.R9332 wants Mario Rabbids style of weapons to pick up, and I kind of talked about this earlier and touched on it. It'd be cool to have laser weapons and different types of actual weapons that Mario can pick up and shoot at enemies. I think would be cool. Obviously not real guns with real bullets, but they definitely can get around it. They've technically already done it. We can literally shoot Goombas with laser guns in Mario Rabbids. Slinky Slinks wants more story and cutscenes, and yes, that definitely is something that I've wanted. Most of Mario's best stories come from the RPGs like Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi, so please give us an actual really good story with tons of cutscenes. I really hope they don't do like a Breath of the Wild thing where it's like all flashback cutscenes and really hardly any story, more focused on gameplay. Gameplay obviously over story for me, but still I want to see somewhat of a story. Salvador Hernandez Twitch Pro wants fun post-game content, and that's something that we all want in every game, especially something with an open world. More reason to go back through the entire world, maybe add more things to the world and give us more things to do. Let it be really fun to play over and over again. Now, most people are just going to replay the game because it's Mario. It's always fun to replay Mario games, but still give people a reason to go back after they beat the game because people want to continue playing the game. And at number 50, Pickles Charles RU wants a new art style, like maybe even a claymation, which would be interesting. Now, as far as the art style goes, I think it is just going to kind of have that Mario Odyssey feel, but just look even better. Mario Odyssey looks phenomenal for a Mario game. I mean, come on, it looks really good. And you gotta remember, it's a Mario game at heart. It's not meant to be super realistic, but I think the graphics are just gonna be pretty much Mario Odyssey's graphics, but even better. Just look even crisper, even cleaner, even bright, better colors. It's just gonna be saturated to beautifulness. It's going to be great. The Restart Life wants to see Sarasaland in 3D. I mean, it's kind of sad that we really never seen this place at all since Super Mario Land. So to see Sarasaland, a giant desert with Daisy and her own like kingdom, would be really cool as well, especially if we are going by neighboring kingdoms, which is one that should be pretty close, I would assume, if Daisy's hanging out with everybody all the time. Kaizo Sozin wants to see Cappy returning as a usable item, and this was kind of already brought up with past things coming into this 3D Mario, but yeah, Cappy is just such a great mechanic, and the mechanic around it is very deep though, because you have to have controls and, you know, options to control all these different characters and objects, so the odds of him being a usable item I just don't really see being a thing, because it's just such a big mechanic for Mario Odyssey. I feel like that capture mechanic might be gone, unfortunately. I would love to see it, don't get me wrong. I would love Cappy just to be in the next game and for that mechanic to stay, but, you know, I don't think it will, and that's just kind of unfortunate. Ross3209 wants to see obscure characters and enemies making a return, or just cameos, like from the RPG games. Seeing the Shroobs return would be so cool, and just seeing some weird, strange characters, like somebody from the Bean Bean Kingdom, or somebody from Pilo Island, you know, just weird characters. Maybe even some Paper Mario characters somehow making their way into 3D would just be cool. And even if they were just cameos, just like sitting in the background, or like maybe a little like character just sitting in a house or something that you recognize from one of your favorite RPGs, or just another Mario spinoff, would be awesome. Nick Mario 1 wants to see massive overworld bosses like Sonic Frontiers, and I couldn't agree more. There's just something awesome about seeing a giant beast walking around, and that's why some of my favorite games include those, like Shadow of the Colossus, one of my favorite games of all time. Seeing these giant monsters stomping around when you come up on them is awesome, and like looking at the Divine Beasts in Breath of the Wild run around the overworld was something really cool as well. So having these larger than life bosses that you actually get to climb up and take down, or find unique ways to take them down, would be really cool to see. Monkey Man wants a rideable Yoshi with different effects based on what he eats, like different shells or maybe just different elemental effects, kind of giving him a Yoshi's Island vibe. Listen, if we have an open world Mario game and we don't have a rideable Yoshi, I think I would die. Come on, that is the perfect transportation to go around the world just riding a Yoshi. And it doesn't have to be just one or the Yoshi. It could be different colors and stuff that you can find, kind of like horses in the overworld that you can just jump on and start riding around. I would be like mind blown if that isn't like one of the very first things we see in a trailer is Mario just riding Yoshi over green fields and stuff. Oh my gosh, please Nintendo. Isn't it crazy that like Mario Sunshine and Galaxy 2 are the only 3D Mario games that has a rideable Yoshi in the game, which just is kind of insane. Nintendo, come on. Mario 64 had Yoshi on the roof, but you couldn't really ride him or do anything with him. But I mean, like, it's time. It's time to bring Yoshi back and make him rideable. Let it be a fun experience just going around the open world with rideable Yoshi. Oscar Samuelson wants a corrupted or Shadow version of Mario for the final boss. We see lots of Shadow Marios. We had Bowser Jr. turn into Shadow Mario, we see Cosmic Mario from Mario Galaxy, and there's been a couple others, even like a Mario Wonder cameo where we just had him. So what if there was actually like some entity that actually acted like Mario, and you had to fight him, and he had all the moves and power-ups that he has in that game? So you're like fighting yourself, but it's some real crazy battle, kind of like Link versus Dark Link. Something along those lines would be pretty cool. Codaceris, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, wants armor or gear for Mario like the RPG games. You can actually put on different gear to change your stats. So what if they had something like that in a open world Mario game? Adding those RPG elements, I think, would add some depth to the game. So definitely down for. The Thinker wants to see the P-Wing or the Wing Cap return, allowing us to fly through the world. Forget having some type of animal to ride like a big bird or some type of plane when you can just fly around. We're just equipping this wing cap, and maybe it's just like an item that you can just slap on Mario's head whenever you want and fly around. That'd be so good. It's not just gliding like from Breath of the Wild, it's actually flying. Sorry, I'm getting too excited. User wants there to be a Korok or Koko-like creatures to find. Now, the Koroks and the Kokos are a little bit different, so let me explain. The Koroks from Breath of the Wild, you have to do little things in order to uncover them and find them, and they're mostly used for expanding your inventory. And the Kokos in Sonic are the same thing. You can level Sonic up by just finding these things and just kind of running over them in the overworld. But something along those lines would be really cool. Just little creatures to uncover and find, but actually giving you a true reward instead of poop when you collect them all. And then Epic Matt for number 60 wants to see Mario Galaxy's Ice Flower return, and I couldn't agree more, because in a snow region, could you imagine if you could just kind of like cover the lake in ice and skate across it or something, or maybe climb up a giant waterfall with your new ice ability? Would be a beautiful thing to see. Now, this idea actually helped me to come up with the idea of just ice skating. What if we could ice skate around the snow world, or maybe even just rollerblade? Maybe they're like equipable items that we could just slap on some skates and we can actually skate, similar to how Mario does in Mario Galaxy. Bits, Tim, and Wesker want a new princess from a new world to be implemented. And I think, yeah, it's kind of about time. We did get that leaked document or footage of, was it Wa Peach that was originally planned? So what if there is some type of new princess, and at first she's like evil, then she turns good? What if Wa Peach is in this game, or something else? I don't know. Someone else? I mean, we did have Pauline finally returned, but she was in the original Donkey Kong game. We had Mario Galaxy bringing in Rosalina so long ago, so what if there's another one that they could bring in? I would be totally down for that, or maybe a king or a prince from somewhere else. Shoot, I wouldn't even mind if it was just another character that just got added to the mainline series. We haven't had one of those, I think, since Rosalina. For instance, we saw the Sprixies in Mario 3D World, and we obviously have Cappy for Super Mario Odyssey. Will we see Cappy again? It's hard to say, but hopefully there is some type of new character that kind of, jumps into the Mario universe with all Mario and his friends again. User wants achievements or milestone missions to some degree, and I think that would be really cool as well. Just kind of like these big achievements, like do something 50 times, do something 100 times, jump at a particular spot, go to a specific location and do something, in order to fill out like a little checklist of missions to really help people to explore the entirety of the world. I think this is something that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom would have highly benefited from, and help people to explore more of the depths and more locations, and had cool Easter eggs tied to those things. That's how you could find them, is simply by checking out your mission list. Something else I also thought of is maybe a full Toad Town to explore, kind of like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. That looked so cool to see all the little villages and shops where the Toads got to mingle and stuff and do things around the castle. Was so cool. I want to see a full Toad Town and be able to explore the full thing like we've seen in some Paper Mario games, but obviously in 3D. User wants to see this game cross over with other Nintendo worlds, which it's weird to say that, but there has been some recent rumor. It wasn't from a reliable source though, but apparently it claimed or hinted at the possibility of us crossing over with other Nintendo franchises and worlds within this game, as that would be really cool. It just seems like it's an absolute pie in the sky idea, and that it would kind of take away from Mario himself, but still, fusing with other worlds and seeing other worlds, like for instance Dreamland from Kirby, or even seeing Hyrule Kingdom from Zelda would be really cool. And there's a lot of others that we could keep going on, Corneria from Star Fox, and it would just be a really cool idea, but Nintendo's not going to do that, let's face it. I mean, that would be pretty insane. But Nintendo's not going to do that, at least not yet, for their first open world Mario game. Creative Track wants to see more mini-games to play, or maybe even compete online like Super Mario Odyssey had some mini-games where you can go for the leaderboards and the highest scores, so that would be really cool. I would love to see little mini-games scattered across the land that you can stop and try to get a high score, and also see the leaderboards for online. I think Mario Odyssey handled that perfectly, and I think this would be great to see return in an open world Mario game. Nin10doland wants to see moveset modifiers, making your own Mario your own way. For instance, you can give him his specific spin from Mario Galaxy if you want, or if you want to give him his Mario 64 moveset and make it kind of build off that, you can. But you're pretty much just kind of building your own Mario, where your Mario might play completely different than your friends or than anybody else's online, based on what you give him. Maybe he jumps higher, but he's not as fast as some others, or maybe yours is super fast and super heavy hitting, but he lacks defense and other things, and he couldn't do certain moves. You could pick your moves, pick all types of things, and customize Mario, and that would be really cool. I would love to see a customizable Mario house. I think that would be awesome. The same way you could kind of decorate the Odyssey in Super Mario Odyssey. What if you could decorate Mario's house? Collect trophies and posters and things and put them all over his house and kind of just design Mario's house the way you want. kind of the way Tears of the Kingdom did, but once again, just in a Mario way. I think it would be awesome, kind of design the front yard, maybe it has like a touch of Animal Crossing where you can just kind of do some baseline things to decorate your house, but you can return to your home, you can sleep in the bed, just do different things like that. I think that would be cool. Parker Rutt wants to see a candy or chocolate biome, so kind of like sweets themed, and we've seen that with Mario 3D Land and Mario 3D World. It's definitely something Nintendo could do, and I see that being a reality. I mean, even Super Mario Odyssey had a food type area with the Luncheon Kingdom, so this is something that probably could happen. And number 70, last but not least, this one comes from AL4XB that states they want more enterable areas, like buildings like we could in Super Mario Odyssey, but even more. I could not agree more. I feel like every area that you could enter within Mario Odyssey was like a fake area. You'd go inside and it would take you and warp you to like a challenge course without actually taking you inside. Like I wanted to go inside the buildings within New Donk City. So hopefully this time around you can actually go inside houses, inside buildings, inside skyscrapers if they are on this map, and kind of go up the stairs, go through rooms and stuff and explore. And especially if it's on the next console, if it can handle it, maybe just seamless transitions into going into these buildings. There's no load times or anything. That would be perfect. And that is 70 new ideas for an open world 3D Mario game. Thank you guys so much for sending in your comments, and thank you for tuning in to the end of the video, those that stayed around that long. Please make sure you leave a like and subscribe, as this video took a pretty long time to make, and it helps out a lot. If you really enjoy videos like this, let me know by liking and subbing. But thank you so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.